Hello everyone and welcome once again to GSTEF TV, the home of premium Nollywood revelations, the platform where we take you behind the curtains and into the soul of the stories nobody else dares to tell with the intensity they deserve. Before I dive into today's extremely heated gist, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications, settle down, breathe in, because what I am about to share with you is not the kind of gist you listen to casually. This one is hot enough to burn the timeline, shake entire fan bases, and make producers rethink schedules. This gist is pulsating. It is emotional. It is layered. It is shocking. And Nollywood has not stopped whispering since it happened. It all began yesterday afternoon on the set of a brand new Uche Nancy romantic drama, a project many fans had been highly anticipating because it paired Sonia Uche and Maurice once again. These two have built an on-screen chemistry that fans adore, a pairing so natural that people often say the camera doesn't just record them, it melts around them. Their scenes together have gone viral in the past, their emotional exchanges have generated countless edits, and their rapport has always given the impression of mutual respect and effortless synchronization. The industry had become so used to seeing them flow together that the idea of any tension between them almost felt impossible. But yesterday proved that even the most seamless partnerships can experience cracks, and when the crack comes from people with such strong screen presence, the effect is thunderous. Shooting started smoothly in the morning. Sonia arrived early, flipping through her script as she always does, calm, composed, focused. Maurice arrived shortly after, full of energy, greeting crew members, exchanging quick jokes with the lighting team, and getting into character. The weather was perfect, the mood on set was warm, and everyone expected it to be a productive day. Around noon, the director called for rehearsal for one of the most important scenes in the film, a deeply emotional confrontation between the two leads. It was a pivotal moment, one that required both actors to dig deep into vulnerability. The kind of scene where a single facial expression could redefine the entire tone of the movie. Because of that, both actors were very particular about how the scene should be executed, and that was where everything began to shift. Witnesses say the rehearsal began calmly, but almost immediately, there was a disconnect. Maurice approached the scene with an intense emotional force, raising his voice slightly, stepping closer, injecting raw passion into every line. Sonia, however, interpreted the moment differently. She believed the scene required quiet tension, a restrained delivery, something softer and more internal. Their methods clashed in subtle ways at first, but as they continued rehearsing, the difference became too obvious to ignore. The director tried to let them walk through it naturally, hoping they would find a middle ground, but the energy was shifting fast. At one point, Maurice delivered a line so forcefully that Sonia paused, took a breath, and gently stepped back. She was not angry, just unsettled. When she repeated her own lines, she toned them down even more, trying to anchor the moment with subtlety. But the contrast between their approaches made the scene feel like two different emotional worlds colliding. The director finally stepped in, asking them to pause. But by then, irritations had started forming under the surface. Someone said Maurice ran a hand through his hair in visible frustration. Someone else said Sonia looked like she was trying her best to stay calm and professional. The tension was building gradually, quietly, dangerously. The turning point came during the next attempt. Maurice delivered a line with heightened passion, moving closer again, his voice trembling with intensity the way he believed the scene demanded. Sonia, trying to return the energy without abandoning her interpretation, softened her tone even more. That contrast triggered the spark. "You're pushing too hard. It doesn't feel natural," Sonia reportedly said, her voice calm but her eyes reflecting seriousness. Witnesses say you could feel the stillness spread instantly. Crew members turned their heads. The boom operator froze. Even the extras stopped pretending not to listen. Maurice stood still for a moment, as if trying to understand whether she meant his acting or the general direction of the scene. When he finally replied, his voice was low but sharp enough to cut through the silence. "You're holding back. I'm trying to help the scene." It was a simple statement, but the weight behind it was heavy. To some on set, it felt like two artistic visions colliding. To others, it felt like two people who had always worked smoothly together suddenly realizing they were not on the same page. But to everyone, it felt like a moment that could go wrong very quickly. There was a long, thick silence after that. No one moved. No one spoke. Even the director hesitated, unsure whether to intervene or give them space. Sonia blinked slowly, looked down at her script, then took a step back. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't argue. She simply closed the script with quiet finality and walked toward the opposite direction. Maurice didn't stay either. He exhaled deeply, picked up his water bottle, gave the director a brief nod that didn't say much, and walked away in the opposite direction. The set remained frozen. The director eventually announced a break, but the atmosphere had already transformed into something thick and complicated. Crew members whispered in small clusters. Makeup artists exchanged confused looks. Costume assistants hovered around uncertainly. Everyone sensed the emotional weight of the moment. The rest of the day became a silent battlefield. They did not rehearse together again. They avoided crossing paths. They didn't exchange glances. The few times they passed near each other, they both looked away. Crew members tried not to stare, but the shift was too obvious to ignore. Later in the evening, fans noticed both actors went unusually quiet online. No post. No behind-the-scenes teasers. No playful comments on each other's updates. The silence felt louder than the clash itself. Rumors then started spreading about the hotel situation. According to someone staying in the same building, both actors returned to their rooms immediately after arriving at the hotel. No dinner downstairs, no casual greetings, no conversations with fellow cast members. Sonia went straight to her room, shut the door, and did not come out again for the rest of the night. Maurice did the same. Not even room service staff saw them interact. Guests staying on the same floor noticed the air felt strange, like two storm clouds had settled quietly behind closed doors. Somebody claimed they heard Sonia's assistant gently telling her through the door to rest. Someone else said Maurice spent hours pacing in his room. But these were all unconfirmed whispers floating through the hallways of the hotel, adding more spice to a situation already filled with tension. Producers began panicking privately. Tomorrow's shoot required a deep emotional sequence between the two of them, something that needed their chemistry at 100%. But with both actors avoiding each other, the fear was that the tension would spill onto the scene, or worse, compromise the entire project. Fans online started dragging the gist in different directions. Some said both actors were perfectionists and clashes like this were normal in the creative world. Others insisted the tension suggested a deeper issue. Some fans said they believed Maurice's approach was too intense. Others defended him, saying he always gave his all. Some fans said Sonia was too soft and sensitive. Others protected her fiercely, saying she had every right to interpret her character the way she believed fit. A few fans, however, took the gist to a whole different dimension. They said the chemistry between them was so strong that maybe the clash was emotional overflow. Others said the two probably cared too much about each other's opinions, and that was why the disagreement felt heavier. A few people even speculated that unresolved feelings might have been involved, though nobody could confirm anything. The blogs amplified everything. Within hours, headlines were everywhere. Some blogs exaggerated the clash, suggesting a major fight. Others downplayed it as a simple artistic disagreement. Some used dramatic titles like Maurice and Sonia clash on set, while others used softer ones like creative differences between two stars. But none of the blogs captured the quiet tension of the hotel hallways. None of them captured the weight of two doors that refused to open. None of them captured the silence of a partnership that normally operated like a perfectly balanced dance. By midnight, the situation remained unchanged. Maurice stayed in his room. Sonia stayed in hers. Fans kept refreshing timelines, waiting for one of them to break the silence. But nothing happened. The people working closest to them are worried. The emotional scene scheduled for tomorrow may either be a cinematic masterpiece fueled by real tension, or a disaster if both actors cannot synchronize their energy. For now, all Nollywood can do is watch, wait, whisper, analyze, and speculate. This story is unfolding minute by minute. And the truth is, nobody knows how tomorrow will play out. Will they reconcile? Will they avoid each other again? Will the emotional scene bring them back into sync? Or will the tension deepen? Nollywood is holding its breath. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the latest burning gist shaking the industry.